Picture this. A young man, maybe 17, steps off a boat in Penang. He doesn't know where he is, he doesn't know the language, and barely has shoes on his feet. The only thing he has is a cloth bag filled with biscuits, a few coins, and maybe a note from his mother. Don't come back unless you have made something of yourself. That man doesn't cry. He doesn't complain. He walks from Penang to Ipoh. Tin mines were calling. He digs, he saves, he survives, and one day he thrives. This is not a fairy tale. It's our story, the story of Ipoh, a city built by immigrants, a city built not by comfort but by struggle. Today we forget that. We scroll, we complain, and wait for the right time. But the truth is this: Ipoh was built by the broke, not the rich. Ipoh's origins are steeped in the sweat and sacrifice of immigrants who arrived with almost nothing but hope. Lim Gotong, a son of a poor family from Fujian, China, arrived in Malay with barely a cent to his name. He started by digging in tin mines, sleeping in shophouses, and selling his labor to survive. But he held on a vision bigger than any hardship, the idea of Genting Highlands as a resort for all Malaysians. His journey wasn't unique. Look at Tan Sri Law Bun Siu, who arrived just a bicycle. He saw the rising demand for motorbikes and built the Bun Siu Group into a vehicle empire that changed local transport, helping both urban and rural Malaysians connect. But Ipoh wasn't just built by the Chinese. Malay ancestors like Dato' Panglima Bukit Gantang, a local leader, organized community resistance and helped establish early trade routes, facilitating economic activity that connected Ipoh to other parts of Malaya. Indian workers brought by the British to build railways and plantations started small businesses after the contracts ended. Families like the Natu Kotai Chettiar community in Ipoh lent capital, started banks, and built some of the earliest shophouses. They became vital to the city's commercial backbone. These stories show a shared reality. Regardless of race, Ipoh's founders arrived with nothing, faced uncertainty, and took risk no one today would dare to take without comfort nets. Ipoh wasn't always the calm, cafe-filled city we know today. Back in the 1800s and early 1900s, it was raw, rough, and real. Tin mining brought people in by the thousands. Chinese immigrants fleeing poverty, Indians brought in by the British as laborers, and Malays finding their role in a rapidly changing economy. Everyone had one thing in common: they came here to survive. They didn't have bank accounts, they didn't have degrees, most didn't even know how to read or write. But what they had was fire. They had the do-or-die mindset. When they arrived, they didn't ask, "What benefits can I get?" Instead, they asked, "What can I do right now to feed my family tomorrow?" And this mindset, the immigrant hunger, is exactly what we have lost today. We live in a time with the internet, education, and opportunities our forefathers wouldn't kill for. And yet we wait, we hesitate, we complain about small things while forgetting our bloodlines was built on risk, resilience, and relentless drive. Let's talk facts. Malaysia's economic trajectory is growing. That's true. But so is our debt. The cost of living is increasing. Youth unemployment remains an issue. More worryingly, many people don't understand money. We were never taught how to make it, grow it, or keep it. All we were told was go to school, get a job, buy a car, and die with debt. And here's where it gets interesting. Ipoh is underrated. While people rush to KL and Penang, Ipoh has a secret sauce. Ipoh has affordable property, growing tourist interest, a strong middle class with deep roots, and untapped cultural and digital potential. You could build a cafe brand, turn a kampong recipe into a digital product, start a YouTube channel, create courses, or export local crafts, all with lower costs and less competition compared to bigger cities. But most won't do it. Why? Because they think small. They're trapped in what I call the comfortable poverty mindset. Not poor enough to panic, not rich enough to be free. They hesitate to take risk because they're not desperate enough to change, trapped by fear and complacency, and they stay stuck. But the old Ipoh spirit teaches us you need to start where you are, with what you have. So let's stop romanticizing hustle for a second and talk strategy. Now, if your goal is to become a modern success or a millionaire in Ipoh, not just in money, but in mindset, time, freedom, and impact, you need to operate differently. So here's a 5-step blueprint that you can apply. Step 1, master high-value skill. Don't wait for school to teach you. Schools are too slow in reforming. Learn marketing, learn copywriting, sales, coding, video editing, or data analysis. Whatever matches your talents. These are income-generating skills that clients, companies, and markets are begging for. Step 2, build a brand. Start with your name. Post content, share knowledge, talk about what you are learning. Build a community that has a trust on you. In a world where everyone is selling, those who educate win. Step 3, turn your ideas into assets. Sell something, a digital product, a service, a class, a consulting package. Test, fail, adjust, repeat. Once it works, automate and scale. You don't need to invest in the next Facebook. You just need to solve a small problems for many people. Step 4, build a tribe. You can't do this all alone. Collaborate, build a small team, support others, and share that pie. You grow faster with people than without. Step 5, delay gratification. This is where most people fail. The old Ipoh folks lived in small homes, ate simple meals, and reinvested everything into land and business. Today, most are drowning in installments. The key to freedom is patience. So if you want to flex, do it later when it's real. The legends like Lim Gotong and Tan Sri Law Bun Siu had one thing in common: patience and legacy building. But we forget what they all had in common: the long game. They weren't in a rush. They weren't worried about other people's approval or opinions. They were obsessed with all of their dreams and vision. They were confident. They played for decades, not for days. Lim Gotong didn't become the Genting Highlands tycoon overnight. For years, he worked tirelessly, borrowing money and facing failures before his dream became a reality. His legacy wasn't just wealth. It was a destination that created jobs, tourism, and pride for generations. Tan Sri Law Bun Siu also lived simply. His motorbike business grew slowly, focused on quality and customer trust. He reinvested profits to build infrastructure and community projects around Malaysia, including schools, mosques, and they still serve today. From the Indian community, the Natukotai Chettiar families invested heavily in infrastructure, roads, temples, schools, with a long-term mindset. They weren't just businessmen, they were builders of society. Their mindset: my sacrifice today will build a foundation for my children and grandchildren. That's the mindset we need to reclaim today, focusing on the long game and not just for quick wins. The people who built Ipoh weren't flashy. They were frugal, strategic, patient, obsessed with legacy. The proof is in the shophouses, schools, temples, and mosques that still stand today, funded by the people who once didn't even own a pair of shoes. Their mindset was, I may not be able to enjoy the fruit of my labor now, but my children and their children will. The question you must ask yourself today is, are you building something that your grandchildren will be proud of? So here's the truth that most people won't tell you. You'll never feel ready. The man who crossed the sea to get here, he wasn't ready. He didn't have a plan, but he moved anyway. The woman who started a food stall with 4 kids and 20 ringgit, she didn't wait for a grant, she just began. Today, you have more access to more tools, books, courses, mentors and platforms than any generation before. Yet, many wait for motivation or the right moment. The reality, the moment is now. Here it is. You are the product of survivors. The blood of empire builders run through your veins. Start acting like it. You don't need any more time. You don't need any more courage. You don't aim to be perfect. Aim to begin. Ipoh's story is still being written. The next millionaire, the next legacy builder could be listening to this right now. But to unlock your potential, you must remember where you come from. From ancestors who braved storms, built communities with their bare hands, and dreamed bigger than their circumstances. So here's your mission. Reconnect with the hunger of your forefathers. Embrace discomfort. Learn with fire. Act with purpose. Build with love. Because one day, 100 years from now, a future generation will say, that was the one who restarted Ipoh's legacy. The one who made this city of millionaires one more. Now, go build something. Ipoh is not done producing real success and millionaires, but it will only happen for those who remember where they come from and have a clear vision of where they want to go. This is Ipoh, the city of millionaires. The millionaire mindset isn't just history, it's your future. If this episode inspired you, share it with someone who needs a reminder that greatness starts with vision and belief. And if you're looking for a school that's driving change in Ipoh, look no further than EdQuest International School and Rochford's education. Subscribe, follow, and stay tuned for more untold and captivating stories from the city of millionaires. And remember this, legacy isn't left behind, it's built one bold step at a time.